How's it going, guys? Uno Gaming back again with another 2v2 on Total Warhammer 3. Myself playing as Cathay this time. I took a Dragon Blooded Lord. We took a Terracotta Sentinel and then two Astromancers. They're as basic bees with only the power recharge rate item. And then some 3 squads of Celestial Dragon Guard. Really trying those heavy infantry. I wanted to try something a little bit different that I have seen other people try, but it's not as popular as the main staple. My ally is Nurgle, and ironically one of my enemies is Nurgle as well. The enemy Nurgle I'm playing against, as you can see, we've got an Exalted Great and Clean one with the Nurgle magic, Soul Grinder Exalted, and then my ally, what we seem to be looking at, is a vanguard of 4 squads of Nurglings, all with 1 chevron just to make the difference. 1 squad of Rotflies, a Soul Grinder, and a Forsaken. And we've got big old Kugath, one of the most... I just absolutely love his model, down to all the details. Absolute cracking model. So, to start this game off, straight away, I noticed that the enemy is purely focusing for a brawl down the middle of the map. It does split 2 squads of Warbear Riders off. I'm not too scared. Obviously they'd been issued to Terracotta Sentinel, but I did bring 3 squads of Celestial Dragon Guard, anti-large armor piercing. They'd do the job at cutting through it. On my lord, I did only take Talons of the Night, Ancestral Warriors, just try and make her as cheap as possible. But obviously I did put her in the air, as it just makes it a bit easier to get around and drop spells. The idea behind this build is obviously we've got Mastery of the Elemental Winds, 2 Astromancers which buff Mastery of the Elemental Winds. Shout out to Turin who just dropped a video on this. I saw the build and I thought it's something I have to try in one of my next games. I do like Cathay, but I haven't found much success on them, so I'm hoping to try some of these different builds and, you know, maybe get a bit more lucky with them. I'm looking for a Talons of the Night on these Warbear Riders just to chip away a little bit of HP. And then I do on the right hand side sneak some Peasant Horsemen into these bushes. Well, more like trees if I'm honest. Sort of looking at objective 1, but my enemy has moved his Soul Grinder on there. The only bonus to him putting his Soul Grinder over here is it isn't shooting, whereas my ally's Soul Grinder is already putting the work in. So straight away, the Rotflies go to battle. The enemy one's getting the Curse of the Leper. So, you know, nice cool by my enemy. And then I'll push up for this objective, and then there's only a minute till it goes open. At this point, my enemy must know that he has to pull his Warbear Riders away. It's just a bit too much anti-large here. And again, the design team, just beautiful squads. Absolutely love them. And we've got the big Terracotta Sentinel stomping over just to go and give a hand. We do put some Jade Warrior Crossbowmen up on the ridge. Now this is a mistake on my behalf. I should have moved the Jade Warrior Crossbowmen behind the Celestial Dragon Guard to get the Harmony buff, because at the moment they haven't got it, and it would have been quite useful for them to have it. My second reinforcement straight away is a Skyjunk. The enemy air force I feel like is being dealt with. It's quite tied up and it's not that scary. So I decided to bring this in just to add a bit of pressure. I hold on the left hand side, but I can see the enemy's pulled completely away. And we've got a Beast of Nurgle, 2 squads of Warbear Riders in this pincer movement here. So I've decided actually, let's send some Celestial Dragon Guard over, just to help out my ally. Same tactic that I ran in yesterday's video. If I can force my enemy to fight on this middle objective, then I can hold the outside too. Over the side here, he moves his Soul Grinder back in to start combat, and I'll then chase off the war sleds with some peasants horsemen, even though they could turn around and charge me. It doesn't seem to want to, and left 1 squad of peasant horsemen just to capture this. Now straight away off the bat, we free capped. In my head I did leave my Nurgle ally out to dry a little bit, because I believe that he could hold the middle. He captured it, and he was going to get battered, but I could send some support over once I'd managed to make sure both sides were taken. Get the little artillery going down, doing some damage on the old Exalted. I just love having a Skyjunk around just for purposes like that. I've run 2 squads of Celestial Dragon Guard back over towards Hub Kugath. I don't want to get dived on by Boris and a bunch of Warbear Riders. So I'm going to go give Kugath some support. Obviously we all know Nurgle have some real issues with having very limited anti-large. So just trying to help out by popping some Celestial Dragon Guard. My enemy thinks, right, he'll run some Warbear Riders down onto my Peasant Horseman. But I'd already summoned a Terracotta Sentinel. My second one, with quite a few chevrons that I dumped quite a few chevrons on, and I'm now moving. But this was a mistake on my behalf. I should never have left the Peasant Horseman there to get charged in the rear. I should have pulled them out, charged them with the Terracotta Sentinel, and maybe used the Peasant Horseman just to sort of sneak around the side. The second squad sits there, up there for quite a while until I realise actually they are there. So at this point, there's quite a few Rockflies and they're just not clearing. So I bring some Longmire Riders in, hoping that this should really push the air battle into my favour. The Lord, 2,000 gold. I'm popping some Talons of the Knights here and there. I didn't get any super effective ones. I did try using them majorly on the Bear Riders, which was a big mistake because they shirked it off quite easily. It really didn't even make them bat an eyelid. This up here was poor position of my Skyjunk. I need to move it down because it's just not shooting anything, it's just stood here getting shot at, not really doing anything. I'm using my Jade Warrior Crossbowman to pick off the Cassars. And as you can see, we do use the Ancestral Summon. We've used it twice already. It was just pushing off this side fight and then trying to get some more support into the middle. The Longmire Riders charge onto the heavy sleds, tying them down, keeping them off the Jade Warrior Crossbowmen. Now the Astromancers, the reason they're not costing spells is because, as you can see, I literally brought them with nothing. I just brought 2 with the Cloak of Pomei, and if they're out of melee then it gives power charge. So you should be able to see that it's allowed me to cast quite a reasonable amount of magic. At this point, I know the game's going pretty swell. We do have some Pox Riders making a move over, but really I'm not too worried about losing this objective. I do send some Jade Warrior Crossbowmen over this side just to sort of help shoot some units down. And then, as I mentioned to you guys earlier with the plan, 2 squads of Jade Warriors. Think, right, let's push down the middle, put a bit more bodies onto the objective and hope that we can just tie them into this middle combat and get them thinking, they need to keep units here. We're moving around with the Lord, seeing if we could spot anything. The Jade Warrior Crossbowmen again, just mooching around, seeing if they can get any picks. We end up with quite a nasty air brawl, so I'll send the Lord in just to help clear it out. Got some Furies and some Rockflies there. 2 squads of Rockflies. And at this point, we are keeping a good hold on the victory points. As you can see, I've managed to hold 2 and 3. So I did manage to take the middle with the help of my ally. And this Exalted Great and Clean one is putting in a fair amount of work and doing a good amount of damage. But luckily, he just can't help to push it all back. So he does send the Pox Riders straight onto my Crossbowmen. As annoying as this is, I'm quite happy to take this. I know we're on 4,000 tickets. They've got 25. So they'd have to triple cap us. And it's just, at this rate, I know it's pretty much won. Obviously, never assume that fully, just in case. But I've managed to dispatch the Air Force. I've sent the Longmire Riders just to clear up the rest of the Plague Drones. The Skyjunk's now free to settle back down here and start shooting to its heart's content. which I'm sure it's about to start doing. It's just rotating around and deciding what it wants to do. And at the end of the game, it decides to shoot a rocket straight into Boris. So, as we always like to do, let's just have a quick look through its value, see what really pulled its value and what didn't. Obviously, we won't count the Astromancers purely because I brought them along just for the passives. If worse comes to worse, I could have used them to try and hold a point and put them in combat, but I had no need to at the time. Obviously, this Terracotta Sentinel, I'd like to think it more of a psychological piece. I maybe could have done more with it if I was being more pressured, but it did its job in holding the point on the left. So we got 1200 value on that, 660, 1550, so not bad value on the Celestial Dragon Guard. Probably could have played them a bit better, and if I'd ran some range units in, sort of got the harmony, that would have really made a difference. Reinforcements wise, Skyjunk, undervalued, didn't really get what I needed from it. Again, the Terracotta, but they didn't really push the flanks much. They really wanted that middle fight. And as you can see on the rest of the units, I mean, one Peasant Horse and pay for itself, the other one nearly, they're quite cheap units, so I just use them to sort of capture units and just sort of skirmish. But other than that, it was quite a decisive game, and I'm hoping that I am learning a bit more about domination and how to play it. Thank you for watching, guys, and I'll catch you on the next video.